The best week of the year is the Holy War, and it's not necessarily just 1 week. It's 52 weeks between these two teams. We've done more videos on BYU and Utah arguing the offseason than we do in the regular season. So when it finally does culminate in this week that is exciting. Listen, I've got a little bit of a pet peeve, just the fact that game day is not there, although I'm not surprised at all with that SEC affiliation. Memphis USF, also a good game that getting no love. Of course, I understand it's a top 10 matchup. I understand that they will do anything they can to go to an SEC school. But aside from ESPN's own personal narratives, this is the game that I'm probably most looking forward to this week, and one that I've been looking forward to all year, especially with the dramatics that ended last season. Just big picture thoughts on this thing.
This is the most incredibly toxic rivalry of all time. And it's the most religious rivalry.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Like, we get to 1 week out. I had somebody commented in my comment section. They said, I thought it was a hilarious comment. I responded pretty kindly. They're like, listen, I can't do it. I can't take this week. It's filled with hate, and I'm leaving. I'll see you again on Monday, October 20th, was the comment. And I was like, you know what? Hand up. Cool, man, whatever. And now 48 hours after reading that, oh my gosh. Like, we need to medicate people in a different way. We need some serious help here. And most of this stems from Twitter. Not even like, I think 90% of people are civil, and then the other 10% are on Twitter. And this rivalry transcends anything that I've seen in college football between two fan bases that are supposed to be nice, that have religious affiliation at the forefront of what they do and how they operate. And so here's what I think is crazy. I had a guy that jumped into my comment section, and I'm going to make this a little personal. I'm going to bring up something, this happened to me this week. And so I thought this was wild. He says, I say, simple tweet, TJ, I'm going to the Holy War. I'll see you there. It was great last year. Hopefully this year will be awesome. Can, BYU's atmosphere beat Utah's? This guy comments, oh, cute. BYU is paying for Trump and Ellen's disowned son to come watch them play football. Hand up. That's kind of funny. I giggled a little bit at that. So I fire back with something, and I quit back, and all of a sudden, this guy falls apart. All of a sudden, oh my gosh, you've taken it way too far. You're taking it way too serious. You can't even, how dare you say any of these things? And so what I started to realize is, and I don't know if it applies to the Utah side, which usually I feel like it does, or the BYU side, but either they take things too seriously, they can't be wrong, or they just don't know how to properly kindly banter. Like, I love the weeks, and I shouldn't love this, but I'm going to bring up, there are the memes that go around now. And it's like, Iowa State's playing Kansas State. And one of them will, somebody will post the meme of like, how many days since one of your alumni killed 13 people in a homicide, and you're like, what? And the other one is 11,000 days. They'll find some random alum from this university, and they'll post that. That's banter that is decades old. Like, that's not a today thing. That's like a funny, okay, you have a serial killer who went to your school, and maybe it's not funny to you. I think that's normal, lighthearted weekly banter for college football, right? Things can get much worse than that. This Utah BYU thing is crazy. So when I responded to that guy and ratioed him to the sun, by the way, and somebody else commented back to me, the BYU fan, and said, look, I get it. Personal attacks suck. Rivalries can be fun, but you've taken it too far. You've damaged reputations. This same person, TJ, that said that to me, I've taken it too far, too serious, not 24 hours prior was doxing a former BYU player for now being in prison, saying, wish they could go to the game, but they're in prison. It's like, what did you do? It is transcended Alabama LSU. It is transcended Alabama Auburn. We are like poison the trees level of stuff happening right now on the internet between these two fan bases. And I just don't think I knew that they had it in them. I don't think I knew that they really had that deep-seated hate, that bone in them. But Max Hall, the BYU quarterback, you ever heard that story, Max Hall? His family, they dump beer on his family. He throws 5 interceptions. And Utah fans dump beer on his family. So the next year, BYU comes out. Max Hall dominates them playing quarterback, dominates Utah, comes to the podium. First thing he says, I hate them. I hate them. They're classless. I hate everything about them. I hate their fans. I hate their players. I hate them. It's a legendary college football rant. And I don't know if I believed it until I got into the weeds of it this week. This is the most toxic rivalry between two fan bases that play untoxic all of the time.
Matchups wise,
on the field, right?
Yeah, no, well, and that's the thing. The best part of this rivalry, as good as the game is, all the things that surround it make it so much better, right? It is the storylines on the field. Where's the biggest advantage in this thing?
Oh my gosh. Funny you ask that, TJ. I have the numbers here. Utah fans are like, oh, he hates Utah. He's a BYU homer. Look, dog, I'm happy to root for everybody. Last year I went to the game with Rice Cycles. Very complimentary. I wore my Big 12 stuff, like my Rob Lowe NFL hat, unaffiliated. These are numbers that I can't fix, that I cannot change. And that's the vast disparity in this matchup, and you cannot argue it. It's objective, TJ. Utah defensively, 86th in the nation against the rush. Is that good? No.
Not too good.
BYU running the football, 17th offensively in the country. That is good. I don't get to choose whether or not those are good or bad. They are just objectively both bad for Utah, good for BYU. 86th against the run, 17th running the football. That's the big difference. That's the big disparity. I'm not saying something that is fake or false or making something up. I'm reading you the numbers. Those are just the numbers. And so you can't I love how Utah fans love oh, well, clip that. They'll clip something from a YouTube show or a podcast or something like, oh, look what this guy said against Utah. I mean, look, he hates Utah. Nope. Buddy, I'm just reading the efficiencies right now between these two teams. And I can tell you, Utah has very poor starting field position, 103rd in the country, typically in starting field position, meaning they're not very good at flipping the field. And BYU defensively is great at flipping the field. They're not afraid to punt and pin you back. Those are big differences in this game. They're the biggest differences in this game, and there's nothing I can do to change it.
What about on the Utah side? Where can they take advantage, and where can they get this thing done?
Yeah. So the average third down distance for Utah as an offense is 3rd and 5, which is number 1 in the country. 3rd and 5 is their average distance. You could have 3rd and 25. You get a 3rd and 1. Their average is 3rd and 5, which is really good. For BYU, their average defensively is 3rd and 7. That's 69th. Nice in the country. Honor code violation. And so that's where Utah is really good offensively on having short third downs. Their conversion rate is number 1 in the country, by the way. BYU's defense is really good on third down, but also they're not great at limiting you to shorter. I should say their defense is not great at limiting you, to long third down. So Utah is going to find themselves in a lot of 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4 with an opportunity to convert. That's where the Utes could control this game.
I want to get a score prediction from you, but do we get any chance from Utah that get them fined in this?
I've been told that 30% of the stadium will be Utah fans. 70% of the stadium is sold to season ticket holders. So I guess the other 30% somehow are going to be Utah fans. No chance this week. And BYU wins it 23-16, 23-19.
Ooh.
And you're going to look at this, you're going to go, that sucked. But at least one of the teams won.
Where can people follow you? Where can they find your work, Drake?
At Locked On Big 12, at LO Big 12 on Twitter. This is a bad week for Twitter, but I'm there, man. I show up every day. Couldn't miss it. That's work, baby.
Drake does his job, folks. Do us a favor, whether you watch this on Locked On Big 12 or listen to it or here on College Football Addiction as well, hit the subscribe button. We always appreciate the comments. And, man, that holy war. I can't
I'll be there.
For it. So
I'll be there.
Have fun. Stay safe. Don't chant.
Always fun, TJ. Love it.